Alrighty, IVB. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And for you, you're a local, so you're like, the worst you are is a couple hours difference. Are you towards Mexico City, or what's that make you like 3 hours away, 2 hours? Aren't you Central Time? I think Mexico City is on Central Time, right? Green FX. Hello, hello. How are you? All right, what do we got going on today? Let's check it out. What it is what it is. All right, let's go to. There's the Swiss this morning. And let's check it out over here. There's the Peso. Peso's lifting up again. Let's see, Swiss, dollar Swiss right there. There we go. And dollar Swiss is lifting up. So I guess Mr. and Mrs. Dollar are firm again. They're reaching for the dollar. You know, I don't. I just watch and read the numbers, but it always is funny. That's for sure. That is for sure. Alrighty, now let's see what else we got going on there. Let's take a look at the chat line again. Yeah, Central. That's what I thought. CST. So that's like nothing. You're like Chicago Quant. You're only an hour. You're an hour difference. That's it. So it's like good morning to you. There you go. What else we got going on here? I guess we're starting off with, like I said, we always like to look at the dollar now through the Swiss first because it seems to give us a flavor of what's going on. And so then what we'll do is if we go and look at, not if, when we look at, the euro, you can see that the euro is, let's put it up on there. You can see the euro is probably going down in value. That would be the recipe to that. There it is right there. It does has a down candle. Not going down too deep, of course. And you can see online, what is that? We are in one of those strange situations. Weekly buy, and in 3 days in a sell. So you are in neutral. That's right, neutral. We always talk about three positions here. Long, short, and neutral. I think big whales are only buying dollar because it's the economy with huge liquidity due to Fed's stimulus. Oh, without a doubt, yeah. And those whales really are is those hundreds and thousands of hedge funds. There's mutual funds and hedge funds and retirement funds, and there's all those funds that have all that capital, and there's nowhere else to park it in a safe zone, I guess you could say. It's a safe zone. And so that kind of puts that flavor into the whole thing. Let's put, there's the euro there, so you can see this still rolling over. I don't know if we're going to go down to the 16s or not. We just kind of watch it and play. What are we doing? Notice one thing, the weekly doesn't seem to want to back off. Oh, we didn't put a line in there for that. Let's do that too. And notice that the weekly is not backing off yet. So. And it's well over the time manifold, but it is flatlining, just like we went and looked at the flat line in, I think it was the euro. Was it the euro, or was the Mexican peso yesterday? We looked at the the way the time manifolds are flatlining. They're getting tighter and tighter and tighter. So super fine, thank you, excelente. Green FX. I like the name too. That's pretty cool. Green FX. I posted something on the Facebook today. It was really funny. Let me see if I can find it and put it up there. It kind of goes with that gig on the idea that green. I'm always, I have a lot of experience in the physics universe, and so in the math universe, and in the reality universe. So it kind of catches my eye when people say greenness or what was it? Renewable energies. That's a cute one. I always like that renewable energy thing. I think that really, it's definitely a weird concept there. But that's a political statement, not a physical statement, not like physics or science. But let me show you one. I posted it up there, and I thought it was pretty. Here it is, right here. And I'm going to shift screens for you. And this is what I'm thinking when this is typical Doc in my brain. It says here, don't mind us. We're just burning hundreds of gallons of jet fuel to de-ice this clean energy wind turbine. So I guess it always falls back to F equals MA, right? Or, something of that nature. That's the only way I can look at that. So when I see something like a name like FX, green FX, I got. It's like, well, see, is that his first or last name, or her first or last name, or is that like a political philosophy, like you want to be green, which is cool. I can dig that, and so forth. Ferris, and so I have Facebook. Yes, I do. You can Facebook me. It's no problem. I use that just like I use the LinkedIn. I look up and catch messages same way. So, um, but yeah, I always like laugh at that, especially when they say renewable energies. It's like renewable. Now, the only thing I noted is close to being renewable is the Sapphire project, which mainstream or institutional physics doesn't respect whatsoever. The only thing I understand of renewable is the electric universe. Basic physics and all the other stuff is, kind of like old-fashioned kind of fantasy. Dark matter and black holes, all that goofy stuff that mathematically can make work, but there don't seem to be any physical reality to them. So, but that's just me. Everybody has. I'm a big fan of the First Amendment. I see. IVB says, even again the CFA. Yeah, the Swiss. Right. Exactly. So in other words, I don't put anybody down for believing those things. I just look at the physics to it. I just look at the science. That's what I do. So I mean, you can believe any of that stuff you want. Let's see what Ferris says. Ferris says, would you love take on the AUDCAD today? Oh, let's take a look at it. Hell yeah, I would love to take on something new. I always love them. I know we've looked at that before, but let's do it. Let's do it. I love jumping around. Oh my God. Yes. 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 Please. May I have more, please? Yes. Yes. There's the what is that? There. Let's do it in the cable CAD. Right. So we'll just slide it in there. Format. Let's see. Right there. And what was that? AUDCAD, right? AUDCAD. AU. Oh, I got to go for extra cash. Let's see. AUD must be cash. There it is. I know we've looked at this before, so that's really cool. Hey, Robin. What's shaking, bacon?
Yeah, I have a dental appointment today. They're going to clean my teeth.
Oh, okay. No problem. After the docs, after docs charts. Right, an hour, exactly. All right, say hello to the world. We're doing our webinar.
Oh, hello, world.
There you go.
Nice to see you all here today.
Yay.
Even though I can't really see you.
Oh, I hear you. All right, I will talk to you in a little bit. Okay, now let's try the AUD and see what's going on there. Let me fix this. There we are. All right, so let's see, that was a sell there, and then it went back into the buy there. And it wasn't a buy for all this. Let's tighten that up a little bit there. And wow, that wasn't a buy for a while too, wasn't it? Wow. What's that all about? But I got a pink I can take, so that's cool. I'll put that down here. Oh, in a buy for a while. Look at that. From that area. So it went from the, what was it? It went from the 89 area all the way up to the, what is that? 97 area? Close to it. 96 and change. 96, what was that high? 96, 97. Almost 97. Cool. And then now, let's see, where's that? There's that. And so then we can move this over to there. There's your weekly sell. And we've been in it since. And it did roll over. Now we got all those cute little greens and so forth. Let's do this. Let's start from yeah, okay. So where's the first sell? Like right there, right before the sell-off of the weekly. So that's there. That green is right there. So that was in a buy at the time anyway, so that's cool. There's a sell-off there. There's the buy again, right there. There's another sell-off there. There, yeah. And then there's another buy right there for that nice move up. That was cool. Now let's clean these up. So we're in a buy now. We went, let's move that sell over because it looks like, and that buy over. And that move that sell over. And move this buy right to there. Yeah. And then move that sell over to there. Now we're getting somewhere, aren't we? And that buy there is that. Nope, you can't do that. But you can do it here, I think. Can you? Let's see what it was at. That was a minus, so you can't do it there. So move that one over there. All right, now, and then I guess we can take one of these buys and move it over, can we? No. No, I checked that already, right? So that was minus 0, 0, 0 and minus 0, 0. Oh, no, that was a plus. These are pluses, so that can be a plus right there. So let's do this. Let's grab that one, move that back to there, and then just next day it just went into the sell again. That's all. And then we go like here. There's the buy there. That's that one. There's the sell there. And there's a sell there. We need to move a buy into there, so we'll grab that buy right there, like that. Okay. And then we can get rid. Oh, we're getting ready to go into a sell. We're very close. How about that? Remove. Okay. And look at that. The weekly is trying to get back up again, too. Interesting. So that is. And let's take a look at it from the beginning of. Oh, get rid of that. Remove. And so it went into the weekly buy there. And did a. Wow. Went into the buy up in here. There's a buy. And that was an interesting ride up to there. How's that? That's pretty cool, huh, for us? Thinking of shorting it here for a swing trade on 4H chart. Just waiting for a clear trigger, though. You know what? Let's go take a look at the. Let's look at a 4H chart. Too. Let's do that. Yeah, there we go. We got the. That's the euro in a 4H chart. Look at that. That's went into the sell here. After that, I think we talked about this here, right? This buy. And there was the buy right there. It popped up a little bit more and then rolled over. We went to the sell here. And what is that? That's still a sell because it's plot 1 and plot 4 are plus, but we're in a red dot. So you can't get the long there. So this has been in a sell now since like right there, I guess it is. Yeah. So it's been in a sell since there. Now that's the euro. Now let's go check out what you're looking at. Where am I on here? And that is AUD. There we go. And there's your 4 hour. Let's check that out. Yes, indeed. So anyway, green F. X, that's where's my head's at. I always find that interesting. So let's see. We're getting closer, that's for sure. Let's remove that real quick. And this will fill in a few seconds. And so that'll be the 4 hour. And we can go back real quick and look at the daily there. And we can even widen that if you want. This way you can really eyeball it, you know. That sell was kind of curious. You went into the daily sell off of this one. Then the weekly confirmed it, but it was barely, just on the edge. Look at that. It's a minus 0.00014. Remember, I did design this for atomic, trying to measure electrons. So it can get ridiculous. Do you know that I have the power to stop the zeros? So in other words, if given the chance, this thing will go like minus 0.00014, 98. It'll look like pi. It'll go on and on and on. Oh my God. Let's see what do we got here. Anything that exists in math will eventually show up in physical reality. We just have not discovered it yet. No, I disagree with that. I disagree with that totally. That would be like saying Escher's paintings will be reality someday. Remember Escher? Do you ever see the artist Escher? They're not really paintings; they're drawings, right? So let me see. I'll show you a picture of Escher as well. Let's see what the 4 hour is doing here. Where's the 4 hour? Right there. There we go. Here's your 4 hour. So we'll just take a look at this real quick. So went into the cell here. We should make up a bunch of lines. Just make a bunch of them up, and then we'll fix them. Okay, so that is that, and it goes into the by there, and it goes into the cell there. That doesn't last long at all. Goes back into the by here. Then it goes into the cell right there. Let's grab one of those again. Move that in. Goes into the cell there. And then it goes back into a by right next to it, like so. Then it goes into a cell right there. It doesn't go much again. And we can try to coordinate this with the weekly chart. Yeah, let's see. And then it goes back into a buy here, which is cool. And it matters in most of this is in a weekly cell, right? I think it is. And then we go into a cell here. And then what is it? That's still in a cell. So it's right on the edge, you know? Right on the edge. Now let's so you can see that I'm going to bring up Escher and Escher. Ooh. There we go. Okay, here we go. You're gonna love this. Love this. Okay. Now this is really big back in my school days, the physics days. And let's go check this out. Let's see, where do I go from here? Just to make my point. There we go. So here is an Escher that's pretty famous, I'd imagine. This one here, the fish and the birds. And then we go into like this one. This is really famous. It's like Harry Potter. Why can't we get that? Oh, there it is. Where is it at? I just put it up there. Where did it go? I just double click on it and it disappears on me. That's probably like one of the most famous of the Eschers, and that's the one where you can see the stairways. Here it is. There we are. That's it right there. Matter of fact, was that even better the other way? Is there a plus and minus? Can we do that? So that would be, you see what I'm saying? When it comes to the, oh yeah, here's one. There's one there too. There's some fascinating ones of the Escher. This was, and then also, I guess what you could say is Alice in Wonderland was written by Carroll. Carroll was a mathematician, and so he put a lot of set theory in there. And so I would say this, set theory seems to be much more of a reality than classical physics. And then what is it? Probably one of the greatest paradoxes of all time you know, let's go back to the screen, but is the Schrodinger's cat. You know, he wrote that as a warning. He didn't write that to confirm I want to say quantitative quantum mechanics. He didn't write that to confirm quantum mechanics. He wrote that to warn everybody that it was incomplete quantum mechanics. Somehow or another, this illegitimate institutionalized science, who doesn't seem to follow a lot of what we really want science to follow when it comes to testing. Matter of fact, yesterday I was listening to the Nobel Prize winner with Penrose, the woman. She was pretty sharp. Graham Greene, head of physics at Columbia University, was interviewing her. It was a live interview. We could do questions and answers, that type of thing. And I know I'm drifting way off of the charts because the math is designed to be physically accurate. In other words, when you look at stochastics and so forth, they're smoothing out averages, or they're looking at something that's not necessary. It's missing things. All right, my math is missing less. Let's put it that way. My math is missing less math, and it's much more functional math than any other math out there, as far as I'm concerned. Now, anybody can go find a better system, put it on the webinar. We've tried that before. People go, oh, you should check out this, or you should check out that, and we do, and my math beats it. Matter of fact, in the very beginning when I started doing Dukascopy, I used to say, we used to call it algorithm wars. And I was always hoping that other technicians would come to Dukascopy and challenge our math with other math, and maybe they would show us a better math. But no one's even ever gotten remotely close. They've come up close. I've come up close using the differential between a slow-moving stochastic and a fast one, and the relationship relative to each other, but not necessarily the high and the low. So that's where we're at on this, you know. That's the math of it all. So anyway, all right, that is that. Now, what do we do? So there's the 4 hour. You can see the pressure on it, and you can see it's trying to sell down. And you're talking about shorting it again, right? And the only thing I'd say about that is that notice here on the weekly, let's make that thicker too. Now let's see. What are we using here? We're using, let's see, we're using Gasline 3.5 Super. So let's see what this is doing. I think the histogram, okay, so this is all 3 really. This is not 5. All right, because plot 6 is 5. And we can put that in as a line for you to see what I'm talking about there. There we go. So you can see here, it's much lower down. You can see here the histogram is almost indivisible. You can't even see it. It's so close in space, coming towards the 0 line right here, that it's trying to lift up. You can see all the green dots that we've had here. And then when we go over to J4X, where's that at? Aussie is up top, isn't it? Yeah, there it is. AUDCAD right there. Probably the same situation going on with the white line piercing through the dotted line. Okay, look at it. It's rolling over already. So it's trying to roll down. It broke through it with our green dots, or in this case here, the Hinky-Ashi. Right? See that there? So it's doing that thing that we do. Let's see if we can do this. See if we move this over. You won't see the prices, but you'll see the differences. See, there it is. So there's that, and there's that, okay? And you can see our white line is breaking down. You can see here the white line is breaking down, and you can see it's starting to challenge the dashed line, which is the slow K. And this is starting to challenge our line, that's why I refer to this dotted line as the 3-dimensional 0 line. And so they're both trying to break down. At the same time, our weekly is trying to move up, and notice the dashed purple is trying to move up still. Okay, that's why we have that in there. That's kind of to represent our weekly. That's what we started to realize there, that it might have a relationship to the weekly. And so what we do is we look at this and if we make this bigger, let's just make this bigger so everybody can see it on J4X. As we make this bigger, we're not really looking at the highs and the lows, and sometimes they do correlate, but we're not really looking at them. I mean, you can see here it tops out and starts to move down. This product moves up for another 5 days. Same thing here. This thing bottoms here, and I think you still go down for a couple days, and then taking off. We're looking at the relationship of the three of these in space, not the high or the low of them as much as the plane that they're traveling on. The surface. And so that's how we look at that from the J4X. Okay, that's some good explanation there today. I like that. We may use that as the title of this today too, of explaining our indicators, explanation of our indicators. And so you can see here on the, what is this, the 4 hour? No, this is the daily. So you can see this is coming up there, but notice that the green dashed line right here is still lagging. And that's because it's the super part of this indicator. It's the 5. And so it's telling us that there's still some weakness going on in there. Now we've decided to just use the 3, not the 5 in this. But if we go back and look at historically how they've reacted to it, and you can see it's went into the sell here on that one, and then you got to pop right back up on that. Whereas in this case here, it didn't, and so it stayed in the buy, and so then this time it did go into the sell, and again you can see we should make that a thicker line so you can actually see it better. There we are. Let's see. Or we could make it even a histogram. You can see it as the histogram, how it's trying to break down and lift back up. Gets a little wishy-washy in there. Interesting, the chop in here right before the real big sell-off. We had that happen with crude oil. Let me show you crude oil too. Remember, we've probably reported crude oil a couple times in the magazine and on bar charts and so forth. We've shown crude oil trying to get into weekly sells. It's doing the same thing. Had all that hesitation in here, and then as we always say, the math will clean it up and you will make the money back. And so it always does. It's kind of like the pass line, doubling down on crap table. In other words, if you're playing craps at a casino and the first roll and you lose money, you do it again, you double the amount. If you put $10 down, next time you put 20, then 30, then 40, then 80, then 160. You just keep on doing it. Sooner or later, you will get your money back, okay, mathematically, okay? And same thing with our math, only nowhere near as vicious. Our math is so much, our math is more like if you lost 10, then you double down, you do 20 the next time, and you lose 20, chances are that now you bet 40, you're going to make your money back. Chances are it's like, because it's 8.5 out of 10, whereas I've seen my cousin did it once. He got the $34,000 to make, was it 34 or $32,000? He had $32,000 on the pass line to get back his $10. My late cousin Mark, he was always like that. He was a sharp guy in many ways. So, and the end result is that you can see here, we finally get into the weekly sell again. We posted it again last Friday. And this time, we get a $5 win out of it. And so that's the action that we're really seeing in the marketplace right now. So today is like one of those days where we seem to be doing a statistical average and trying to justify who's good math and who's bad math and how to read the math. So in other words, I myself anti-black hole and dark matter. I am Birkeland currents and Maxwell and Faraday and early Einstein and Tesla and so forth. I am an electric universe person. So I like it all to hit right, not fake. So anyway, there we go. And then, so there we are too with the AUDCAD. All right. Do we have anything else you want to look at there? Or did I scare everybody away at this point now? Doc has gone totally into physics today. Totally into mathematical physics. We've gone totally bunkers. Right over the edge. He's cruising right over the edge. All right. What do we got going on here? I guess we can go back to, we looked at Aussie, not Aussie, we looked at the euro, so we might as well go over to the cable. As you can see here, cable showing that same pressure that we're seeing with the euro against the dollar. And same situation also with the time manifold. You can see here the white line is cleanly above. It's holding up, whereas on the shorter term chart right here, it's heading down. You know, and it's giving us a warning here that it wants to break down in value. And so that's where we are at the moment. And then I guess we can go over to Turkish lira, see what they're doing there. Is that another all-time high? I think it is. 33 now. 833. The hell, they're going for the 9 handle. We don't need no stinking 8 handle. We need a 9 handle. Oh, I read a horrible story. Not a horrible. I read a tough story on Turkey yesterday, and the former prime minister, now president of Turkey, Erdogan. And oh my goodness gracious. Now they say that the economy is in tethers. If they're in tethers, why is he doing this policy? I think he's taking the China route myself. I think that he wants to just lower the value of their currency to a point where business just rolls in, and then maybe sooner or later it lifts the economy up. And so the product has gone from 1.5 since he was prime minister to now over 8, heading for 9. So I guess that idea is going to work sooner or later. You know, his son-in-law is head of the National Bank or something like that, and his daughter-in-law is the head of something else, and his son is the head of something else, and his daughter is the head of something else. So he's got all kinds of things going on. He's got the whole family working really, really hard to get this thing all straightened out. So we'll see how that plays out. But it does look like we are trying to go after the 9 handle at this point. Now you can see here on the weekly, let's just scrunch that up a little bit. You can see here on the weekly, this thing is like going through the atmosphere, I guess you could say. It's really, look at the distance between the top of the plus manifold, or the plus manifold, to where the white line is. I mean, wow. All I can say is wow. And we talked about 3 dots. 3 dots, 3 dots. This one was 1 dot, 1 dot, 1 dot, 2 dots. I think that was 2 dots. Let's go back and check. Yeah, 2 dots. Remember, we were looking at that, you know, looking like every time it goes, doesn't last more than 3 dots minus, and then it just falls apart, you know. Doc on steroids. Yeah, you know, Doc has chased everybody away at this point. I think it's just you and me at this point. I think they've all run away. They've Doc has gone totally crazy on the math. So don't start me on dark matter and black holes. That's a definite negative. My math sits here and proves every day they don't function right. So we just happen to bring it down into the real world. So we use the same math that I use on dark matter and and black holes, and we just put it on the euro, and we put it on the British pound, and we put it on the Aussie, and we put it on crude oil, and so forth, you know. Yeah, it's crazy stuff. Today's what, Thursday, right? So it's getting towards the end of the week. We can't wait for this election stuff to end. It's so crazy. It's just driving us all crazy. Let's look at the stock market. I mean, the stock market's getting pelted. They're taking it down so that they can take it up. Let's go find the stock market there. And you can see there it's down again for the day. Let's see where it's at here. Oh, look at that. We got a volatility signal kicking out on the 4-hour Aussie CAD. And then let's minimize that for a second. And then you can see here, like the NASDAQ is up 73, the S&P is up 7.5, and the Russell is down 2.5 right there. You can see that. So there's pressure on a lot of the products here. And the markets, you know, are having their issues because money, you know, and we're watching, here we are looking at pairs trades, and you can see the dollar is strong, you know. I mean, just way too strong. Sure, IVB. Any question. Remember, all questions are good in trading. There just happens to be short ones or long answers. That's all. Short answer or long answer depends on the question. That's all it is. Fire away. Reel me back in. Janos used to reel me back in. For how long you expect uncertainty to extend after the election? I think it's going to be resolved that night. I don't really think it's going to. I don't think the uncertainty is going to be there. Assuring neither Trump or Biden would recognize the other's victory. I don't think there's much of a choice. It's all very mathematical. As soon as Trump gets the Electoral College, which I think he's going to do, I think he's going to win by 3. What did I say? I calculated what I think is going to play out. So I think he's going to win the Electoral College by like 315 or 320 or something like that. Biden can pretend all he wants that he didn't lose, but he lost. So Trump is going to win. On the worst case scenario, I think Trump wins 285 of the Electoral College. I think you need 272. So he'll win the Electoral College by 13, or he'll win it by maybe 45, as much as 45. It all depends on Pennsylvania and Michigan and Wisconsin, really. Those numbers there. But I will be very surprised if Mr. Trump loses. The numbers look very good for him. He's got enough states now that he should be able to win the Electoral College. So I don't think I'll be surprised if there's a hold-up election night. I would be very surprised. I think he's going to win with an incredible landslide. And even so, if it went to the Supreme Court, you know how Roberts has been. Roberts probably would not change anything. In other words, it seems like they're enforcing the idea that even mail-in ballots have to be stamped before the election. You can't have mail-in ballots that are stamped 2 and 3 days later. They have to be then. So, that would take the integrity thing out of it too, which is a good thing. In other words, justifying stuff. So I don't think there's going to be much noise. I think that it's just the media just being crazy. That's all. All right, let's go to CAD. Dollar CAD. There's dollar CAD. Oh, look at that. Yeah, see, it exploded up yesterday, right? So this is the third full day right here off of that big one. And this is going on the fourth day now up. I guess we're seeing, that's because of the oil, right? Remember, I always look at it that way. Now, the thing that's got me a little confused is the NAS-CAD pairs trade. It's showing strength, and we're seeing oil in the opposite direction. Let's just show you oil. Where's it at? There's oil. And that's S&Ps. There's oil there. And so you can see this is rolling over, and the NAS-CAD is rolling up, which is kind of not usual. They usually move together. So I guess what they're going to do is they may possibly put a bottom into the crude oil. Let's see. Let's go back to crude oil again there. So crude oil. Crude oil. I went into a weekly sell last week and then a daily sell last week. So we're 4 full days. This is the 5th day in a sell. So this is like screaming and yelling at us. Now it tried to do the same thing back here, but it was kind of late to the party because it had been really in a sell since like right there. And this was, let's move this over, really there, but it didn't confirm until the close of the week. And you can see here, this was the sell. So it caught most of this action here. It caught that, but unfortunately, by the time the weekly confirmed, it was, here, let me just make this go all the way to the top. It was just a Monday pleasure, So you get short, and then you wake up the next morning and you made $4 out of it or something like that. And then after that, it's bottomed and it's taken off again. So it was kind of like late to the party, whereas this one, was very close. It started off much more closer to the zero line, and that's what I mean by late to the party. When it starts off like on Monday, Tuesday versus when it starts off like on Thursday, Friday. There's a lot to be interpreted when looking at Doc's math, really. And so, not interpreted. No, that's a expression of word. There's a lot of data that is being provided, not interpreted, but provided, and so you need to not interpret it, you need to observe it, because we follow we follow a creed of the idea that math should and science should basically where's it at there? Basically, like, I have a way of describing it. It should be it should be reproducible. When you're doing an experiment, it should be reproducible. And so mathematics, like, observation and speculation, like, like the way Lenny Susskind advances different dimensions to justify his math, that type of thing is not I don't really groove on that stuff. So I've always been a fighter against that stuff. I like to do an experiment physically and then be able to reproduce it again physically, not mathematically. Mathematically is great for speculation and trying to understand something. It's like what Einstein used to say. There's times where Einstein actually got it right, and on a lot of different philosophies. And one was, 55%, or is it 95% thought, 5%, math. The idea is trying to work out something and look at it, and then try to reproduce it. And that is really the key to all science, as far as I'm concerned, is being able to reproduce it over and over and over again. IVB gets great. I think we've chased everybody away because Doc went totally nuts into the physics world. He's out there. Doc's like 2 galaxies away. Doc claims that I'm talking the third party, but I sometimes feel like I can see way, way further out there than I should be able to. But that is me. So, and so you can see here on the, the AUDCAD. Is that the AUDCAD? Yeah, the AUDCAD's up there. Yeah. So you can see there, and then you can see, oil breaking down. And so when you really look at, it's just like this here. What I'm exemplifying mathematically and verbally is like when a white line starts to break down, and it breaks the time manifold right there. And I guess, you can see that right there, or heading towards the time manifold. You see that nice fast break, and then there it is right there, and it already starts to bottom. You can see this in the case of oil. It tries to move up, and as this is moving up, that's moving up, and it's going over the time manifold again. Whereas when you see it on a week-to-week basis, it's a little bit slower. And we try to slow it down so that you can have a much more, not you particularly, but everybody in general, so you can look at things through a weekly view, and a weekly view right here, and a daily view up here. And then obviously we go into where some people around here like to follow the 4-hour. Like there, and you can see the 4-hour view, which I don't, first of all, I don't pay attention to time that way. I'll follow days and weeks, but I won't, after that I'm always into spatial time, my own time. So we've chased everybody away today. Oh well, that's what happens once in a while. Doc's got to get nuts. All right. IVB, you want to see anything particular? We can jump over to Mexican Peso, since it's the IVB Doc show today. Let's see what the peso is doing. Oh, there's one right there too. That's cool. The GBP Mexican Peso. And there's the dollar peso. Doing exactly what you're trying to play for too. It's going up. It's going up, and in that. But this is a disappointment. You can see this weekly is still pressing down. So you got to figure it's going to be one of these type of things, or we're at this point. We're in the later part of this move. You can see here it did it. And we had some really good moves up, and then it rolled over. In this case here, you were thinking like 25, like it would get up to 25. I think you said yesterday, right? Yeah, well, I would hold on to the long. I would take some profits each time, a little bit more, and just reduce your size only because of this. The white line is below the 0 line, and it's playing with the time manifold. Now it would be nice if you start to get this action right here, this bouncing action. Then you would think, woo, doggy, you're going to get yourself a nice big move up. So, it would be nice to see that. And this could force it, this pressure. But look at the distance between here and there. It's not a lot. It's not like compared to the distance between these 3 bars from here to there. So, if you see this thing closing below this close there, I would be concerned and I would take more profits. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it would be interesting to see it get up to the 25. That would be one heck of a move, right? Let's go take a look at it on J4X. Dollar peso. Let's see. And we go like that. When's the last time we were up in the 25s? Was that back in, let's make this bigger too. When was that? That was back in March. That move from, I guess, the panic move of selling down volatility. I wonder, I've always wondered too, those volatility funds were not exclusive to equity options and equity indexes. They were doing a lot. They were selling a lot of premium, and there are active options in the dollar peso. They may not be the most super liquid, but they are active in the futures market, and so it wouldn't surprise me if they were doing sprinklings of Mexican peso, Canadian dollar options, and Mexican peso options are about the same in liquidity, and to some extent, I know this sounds strange, but the Swiss franc is not far off from them. And then the yen, and then from there it goes to the cable, and from the cable it goes to the euro. They're like the most active of all the options. And so it's that combination of the 6 big pairs trades, And so it wouldn't surprise me that some of this action that you saw with the peso right here was those volatility option hedge funds that were selling the daylights out of premium got trapped. That would not surprise me at all. And notice it seems to have come barely back down to this stuff here. But it does seem to have calmed down. Again, we don't have a lot of reporting agencies that or groups that really report a lot of good stuff, Doc and his math will pay me some comp next week. I guess that's money, right? Let me grab that and ask my search engine. Let's see what it says. Ah, cappuccino. I love that. Cool. Very cool. Yeah. Take your profits, though. Be careful. Remember, we're going into a lot of noise. You don't want to be committing a lot of action to anything right now. Yeah, I see that. It's cappuccino. Yes, indeed. Remember, I'm dyslexic. You put 2 vowels near each other in a word, and my mind goes ballistic. I know this is really, everybody talks about, oh, I'm dyslexic this or I'm dyslexic that. Doc has a dyslexia that is a very strange dyslexia. I have a fusion problem. And for some reason, it has an effect on vowels in the English language. So my eyes, with the fusion, what happens, my 2 eyes like to work independently, and you can't really see any of that. Only I can see it. And then second of all, I have a blind spot because of it. And what it's done is made my mental capacity throughout my whole life to have to extrapolate. And so it's like I do calculus just to function every day. Walking around, everything, I do a calculus. Started after I got involved in trading. Guess my brain changed. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. there's a lot of, fast input going on, and you're looking at charts. I wouldn't be surprised if you became more disciplined in some ways. I know I'm very disciplined from it all. Yeah. So, um, what were we looking at? Oh yeah, so there's the peso. Yeah, I'm a little surprised this hasn't had bigger moves. I mean, you can see just from the move from here to there is much bigger than this one. And nice part was we did get the volatility signal right there. We got it here too, and it broke down for a day or so. And we got it here, and it broke down at the close of that day, and then broke down. So this is very impressive. The last time we've seen an up volatility lasted a couple days there. We had one here. You can see that right there. We had the up, and it lasted for 3 full days before it started to back off. So maybe tomorrow, maybe they go and maybe see this high right here. I'd be cautious about if it doesn't get past that high, and then when it gets to this high, I'd be like hair on fire. I'd be trying to take profits even more at that point. Now I really, it would be cool to see it get to the 22, this low here, but I'm not really sure it has that much juice in it. So you gotta kick back and be cautious. Very cautious. We chased everybody away today. All right, where are we at now? Let's go to, what else would you like to look at? Want to see the cable? See what the cable's doing with the Mexican peso? That's kind of neat. There it is there. So it went into the sell off of this one because we had a green dot there and you couldn't take it. You can see the weekly broke down. And then you can see here it's yesterday it put it into the buy. So it's joining in with the dollar situation. And remember, the peso, the cable's much weaker. The British pound right now is much weaker against the dollar. So this is an interesting battle that's going on there. Let's see if we see any volatility signals. There's one there. Not many in that. That was it. Oh, here it is. 2 of them in a row. There. And I guess it slowly broke down. That was in a weekly sell at the time, and then it closes in a weekly buy with it going into a daily sell at the same time. Let's see if there's any other volatility things that might jump out at us. There's one there. Or is that the one I pointed out before? That might be the one yeah. So there's one there for that move up. It wasn't a weekly buy, and it was in a daily buy right off of it. So that's pretty cool. And that's about it. There's one there. Oh, you're blocked out. You can't see anything I'm looking at. There it is. Okay. Yep. I fixed that there. And so this is the let's see, where's it at? Let's go to this. So this is the British pound against it. Right there. It looks a lot like the dollar pound. Dollar peso. Right there. Yeah, and I was impressed that we're going after the 35s in oil. That was kind of impressive. Especially with the dollar being bought. What's that all about? Dollar being bought. Usually oil moves up with the dollar. And we got gold. What are we doing? We got the metals kind of moving down too, right? So let's go over to the metals. Daniel, welcome to the hood. Are we going after a 9 handle now on the Turkish lira? Oh my God. Is that crazy stuff or what? So there's oil. And then there's gold. And gold's been sliding down with lots of volatility noise at the same time. Lots of it. Look at it. There. And there's a lot of noise there. And then silver seems to be cleaner. You can see that. It's just gone into the sell and just pushed down. Yeah, so that pressure is pressing. You missed it, Daniel. I went nuts. I just had to go after dark matter and black holes. I just had to. I guess it's because I was listening to Penrose's partner yesterday. She was being interviewed by Graham Greene, and it was a really good interview. And she's really sharp. They gave her the Nobel Prize, which is really cool. It was nice to see Penrose get the Nobel Prize also. I like Penrose. I know that most modern physics tries to steer clear of Penrose. Penrose is like me. Or I'm like Penrose, or however you want to phrase it. But in the end result is that Penrose can get out there. He can really get out there. I think I talked to Penrose once. Uh-oh. What do we got a guest of right before the end of this webinar? Is that the shooter? He's the scalper. It is Carl. What's up, shooter?
What's up there, Coach?
How good or bad? Well, I know there's not much of a bad. So where'd you end up in this morning from last night?
It doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
10 grand, but I did things I couldn't possibly do with real money.
Right. Okay. Okay.
So it doesn't count.
Yeah. So up 10 grand. Okay, I hear you. Yeah. Well, I mean, last night you were scalping nice. So.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you.
So I throw it to the wind, but I'm going to. I was looking at another video, and I'm going to get in there, and I'm going to set my stops up.
Yeah.
There's a lot to it. I'm going to get it set up so I don't get in bad bad spots. Now I won't make as much as I normally do because I'm going to be stopped out a lot.
Right. Right. Now this is good because now Carl here he's a really good scalper. Buying the bid, selling the offer. You know, does it? Oh yeah, I'm on the webinar. And you're talking to the planet.
Oh, hello, planet.
There you go. And so, you know, scalping, intraday scalping, and sometimes it can be as fast as 3 or 4 seconds, or slow as 3 or 4 seconds. And so that and definitely we've talked about that with the traders a lot, and the webinar. You know, stops are important.
Very important.
Yep, exactly.
Because your mind will flip, and you'll think that you can predict the future, and then before you know it, you're in deep shit.
Yeah, exactly. And
then you got to fight all day to get out, but you will get out.
Oh yeah,
yeah. We'll come out even or above.
Right, exactly.
But no big deal.
Yep, exactly. Well, happy trails to you until we meet again.
Take moments. All right, see you later.
All right, bye-bye.